I've been in the luxury space actually my whole business career. I spent many years with the American Express Company in their travel, credit card, and wealth management groups. And I've been now the CEO of 3 research companies, one of the top 50 custom, one of the top 3 or 4 syndicated, and now I'm back into a different space where I'm into the world of luxury and affluence insights. So what I'm going to talk about today is another different topic. Earlier today, Milton spoke about culture, a very important thing, a very important issue, and today I'm going to talk about the consumer and how she and he look at the ways they can buy and research what luxuries are out there. What I'm going to do is spend 2 or 3 minutes on where the data came from, where the insights were generated, the Schulman Pulse. Then I'm going to get into buyers' preferences regarding how they shop. And we're breaking shopping into 2 different categories, researching and buying. From my experience working with a lot of different companies, particularly, I'll say, luxury marketers, they talk many times about shopping as if it's one experience. There really are 2 components when you speak to the consumer. I'm really then going to get into the categories that are bought online and which ones are bought online. One thing I have learned in my experience, luxury is in the eyes of the consumer, and also it's category specific. So I'm going to be showing some data today, so I hope you're ready to look at it. It's a little different than the presentation you've seen today. Then we're going to get into why people buy online, what are the benefits, what are the drawbacks, and what needs to change from the consumer's point of view to induce more buyers to buy online, assuming that's part of your strategy. Then I'm going to try to connect the dots and bring it all together. What's my survey? It's a different type of insight survey insofar that we're looking into the future. We're not like most surveys which measure what happens. From my experience dealing with CMOs and CEOs, they want to know where it's going. So we tend to focus on what people feel about the economy, their optimism, and their plans for buying for many different categories. We're primarily focused on high income and wealthy adults, but we also do cover, I'll call mainstream America, because for certain categories we have found that the average consumer may buy some of these items once or twice a year: cosmetics, fragrances, high-end wines, high-end booze. The other difference is we get into the whys. You'll see today I'm going to put up on the screen some actual consumer quotes, because I think the quotes really tell the story. The other difference about the survey is we focus solely on the survey respondent. Many other surveys ask about you and your household. It's very difficult for anybody to interpret how individuals talk about other individuals in their household. And from that, we see ourselves and most of the clients we're dealing with, we're helping them get ahead of future events. How do we do this? We do an online survey. We do more than 1,300 completed surveys in each wave. We basically look at 5 different segments. And what we do is, using sophisticated weighting algorithms, we put it all together, but allows us to look at different segments. Because if I were to talk to individuals in this room, the marketers, each one of you probably has a different specific target group. Some look at 250,000 plus individuals, some look at 50,000 plus. It depends on the category, depends upon how you look at it. Some also look at it by combinations of income, age, gender, etc. We cover 19 different topics. The one in yellow is what I'll be talking about today. What are consumers' luxury buying preferences and behaviors? What you'll see here is I have 4 columns. This is one of 10 slides that has numbers. For anybody who may want a copy of this later, just see me. I'm here through tomorrow. Don't take notes. It's not easy to take these down. What you'll see there is I'm showing the luxury and affluent world 4 different ways. All adults, 75,000 plus. If you look underneath it, that's 39% of all adults. The median household income in the US is 51,000. So when you get to 75,000, depending on who you are and what you're selling, that might be your target. From my experience dealing with a lot of luxury marketers, and I heard basically what David said yesterday from Virtuoso, many of them focus on 250,000 plus, the top 3% of America. For those who are in the more elite world, it's the top 1%, which is 500,000 plus. But if you look at how consumers research what they plan to buy, everyone in this room has done a good job. Consumers are comfortable researching and searching online. You know, that's their preferred way, and if you were to do this probably 20 years ago, it would have been in person at a store. It's changed. You've convinced people that researching online works. Notably, the primary way right now still tends to be on a desktop. How do they prefer to buy? I think you'll see now that we've dropped from the 80s to the 40s and 50s. What you'll see here is, for all adults, it's pretty much 50-50 online versus in a store. And when you get to the higher income groups, 250 plus, 500 plus, the majority clearly are preferring to buy online. What ways are they not comfortable buying? Well, as it obviously be, half of them are uncomfortable online. And what you'll notice is, notably, it's on the smartphone. What categories are people buying online? I mean, always in luxury, you will notice that in general, luxury, I said, is in the eyes of the beholder. We have some selected categories here. About 1 in 4 American consumers claim they've bought a luxury in the past 12 months. Clearly, that rises to the majority when you get to the 250,000 plus household income group. Clearly, you need discretionary and disposable dollars if you're really going to start buying luxuries. How are people buying these luxuries? What you'll notice here, still the preponderance is in person at a store. As income comes up, as I'm sure many of you would like to see, buying online basically is a preferred and actual way of people doing it. Again, online on a computer. Clearly, by phone, still actually is being done. Mail order, less and less. What are they buying online? And I'm going to spend some time on this. If you look, the number one category when you get up into the higher areas clearly is luxury vacations. You will then see basically designer clothing and accessories, sparkling wines, fragrances. It changes, and it's very category specific. What are the benefits from the consumer's point of view of buying online? Well, they don't have the retail location near them. From a female consumer, could find exactly what they wanted without going away from home, got a very good buy on the item. Interesting one, difficult to shop with kids in person, much easier to do it at night, easier to compare prices, better selection online. Basically, I can do it anytime, even when I'm watching TV, most likely a millennial with a tablet in her hand. Depending on where you live and if Saks is your preferred store, it's easy to browse all the gowns that Saks has on its website and order a few rather than traveling an hour to get a more limited selection. And basically, for some people, they want to ship it to the office. It saves a trip. When you roll up the hundreds and hundreds of quotes we have and look at the main themes, again, depending upon who your target is, among all adults, something I don't think we really want to see, better prices. But that's where it comes out. When you get into what I will call the more likely high-end consumer for the luxury, it's convenience, it's easier, get a better selection of goods and service online, and basically I can do it at any time faster than going to the store. And then there is the issue of familiarity, what I will call repeat business. They've done it once before, they're comfortable doing it again. Why don't they buy online? Many of you in this room want to. I've heard it at this conference and the one before, you want to increase online buying. Well, clearly we have the group who wants to see, touch, and get immediate answers to questions. They want demonstrations. Pictures and FAQs just don't do it. You know, I basically want to place a phone order. I want to talk to somebody. The issue of privacy, clearly a major issue. Then we have a male impulse person, enjoys the hunt, enjoys shopping in person. We get into the issue, which I think is what's going on with the reason for the discomfort with smartphones. The screen is too small, keyboard too difficult to really type in the information requested. Surprisingly, some people say better pricing in person. They can negotiate. More trust. Didn't feel like waiting. Wanted to go, buy it. But there are many, many reasons why people are not buying online. And beyond some of the ones we've been discussing here during the conference that are more, I'll call it technical, some of these issues need to be addressed to the extent that you really want people to buy online. If you roll these up into the themes, particularly for the higher income ones, they really want to see, touch, and feel what they're buying, do a test drive, probably spending a lot more money from the work I've done. When you get up into the 250 plus, which we've highlighted there, basically they're spending a lot more money. Next issue is security, being in the store, basically easier in person, hard to buy on the internet. When you look at the higher income groups, clearly different than, I'll say, mainstream America, where you have 1 in 6 and almost 1 in 5 saying they want personal service. Goes to what we heard some of the people talking about. We need omni-channel. We need to offer the consumer what she wants, he wants, in the way they want to do it, not necessarily the way we would prefer they do it. How do you get them to buy online? We actually ask them that. And from the work I've done, they come up with different answers. They want great return policies depending upon who you're dealing with. Some make it easy, some make it hard. We had one who actually came up with an interesting idea. They would like a 3D store. I think I've seen some of those on the web, but they want a 3D store. They want to have specificity about products. They want a knowledgeable call center. They want a guarantee about privacy. They don't trust the technology. They want an incentive. Again, I don't think it's something everybody's looking for. They want better pricing. They want free shipping and free return. And they'd like a short video, which we actually heard at the conference here. When you roll these things up, what will do it? And I just would like to just focus on the top line. This is today. It's not to say it's not going to change over time, that we can come up with better ways of basically offering people the online experience. But anywhere between a third and basically 4 out of 10 say right now there's nothing that can be done that would induce them to buy online. What would they consider? Something I don't think anybody really wants to do. Better prices, discounts, and deals. Then we get into increased security. Samples, free shipping. Notably, for the particularly high income group, better customer reviews, real reviews. I'd like to try to connect the dots and wrap it up. I'm picking the $250,000 household income segment to basically do it. How do they prefer to research? Well, they're very, very comfortable today with online. Online works for them. It's convenient. In person at a store basically is off the table today. Mail order, forget it. When you look at the ways they prefer to buy, when you get to the higher income group, clearly the majority are comfortable online. I think everybody should be happy about that. But again, 1 in 3 still pretty much want to buy at a store. When you look at how they buy luxuries, we will see there is a clear preference today when you buy to do it in person at a store. To the extent you want to give them a rationale, you need to come up with the true benefits, if you can do it, of what's the benefit of buying online compared to the in-store experience. What ways are people uncomfortable? I think you can see it here, particularly in the, I'll call it the top 3%. It tends to be today the smartphone. Some of the other ones, clearly there are issues. They clearly don't like, in many respects, by phone. So I would say there are plenty of opportunities. Today I showed you what consumers are doing by income, which is, from my experience, the way most people start targeting. The data I showed you could be showed by actually any of these 19 different topics. And with that, I've left, as I was requested, about 5 minutes for questions, if there are any. Any questions?
Any questions for Bob in the room? One up here. Excuse me. Jason?
Yes, sir.
Did you take into account any classification of people or race?
Oh, we collect all that data. So from the work I've done, we're still exploring this data set because you can imagine what's in it with
Sure.
the 1,300 plus consumers. Clearly, you get into issues in shopping based upon both race and basically ethnic background. I mean, it's clearly a multicultural issue. I've dealt with it. Dealt with it in particular in my prior role at Mendelsohn when I was doing the affluent survey. There clearly are different preferences depending upon who you are, and in many respects, I think how you know, the nature of the family in which you grow up.
Sure. Yeah, I was looking at more or less kind of the in-store shopping versus online, seeing there was such a significant difference there.
Well, I know a couple of people who saw previews of this asked me, you know, could it be generational? Because another way of looking at it is age. And everyone said, well, clearly the millennials are going to be more likely to be into online shopping. And even though I didn't present it today, we could present it that way. Not that much of a difference, which surprised me. I expected there'd be a lot more of a preference, particularly for luxuries among millennials, to basically use their digital device. Didn't see it yet. It may come. I would suspect as it evolves, they'll probably be the first to become more comfortable with it. Any other questions?
Questions for Bob? Milton?
Yes, Milton.
Did you see anything about people just saying, I love shopping because it's a great experience, it's entertainment for me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, clearly. I mean, when you go there, when you get into the benefits, if I were to show the hundreds of verbatims, you'll see that comes. I mean, clearly, there are people who just love to hunt. It's the best way to put it. And as long as you give them the appropriate, call it experience, they'll come back. So, I mean, are things evolving? Clearly. Do this 2 or 3 years from now, you'll see numbers will change. But again, the in-person experience, depending on who you're dealing with, will still be a primary way of doing it. Any other?
Thanks. Bob, do you see the focus on the in-person experience? Is that more a reflection of the current lack of ability to deliver on that? I'm wondering if we can find ways to deliver a preferred experience online, which right now, based on the public venues, is difficult. Is that the major difference maker?
I think the consumer, the industry has convinced consumers you can research things online. A lot of people didn't think that could actually happen a long time ago. If you look at the reasons why people are uncomfortable, some of them are pretty basic. I mean, you know, everybody would like people to buy on the smartphone, depending upon what it is. Some of the smartphones just, people don't like the screen, it's too small, or they don't like to basically type on, you know, basically 1/8 of an inch square keyboards. So I think some of these things are solvable. I think the group here in the room can basically work on it, but it's going to take some time and effort, and eventually, I assume, just the way things evolve, more and more people will get comfortable buying online. It happens. Just going to take some time. It's not easy. Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.